We have sent humans to the moon. We have engineered ultralight, ultra-insulating materials capable of surviving the vacuum of space. And yet, in the middle of an Arctic blizzard, where winds can exceed 160 kilometers per hour and temperatures plunge below 50 degrees Celsius, those technologies still fail. Carbon fiber military tents are torn away by the wind. Synthetic insulation becomes brittle and cracks as trapped moisture freezes. Electronic heating systems consume enormous amounts of energy and shut down after only a few hours. Meanwhile, the Igloo, a white mass of snow built by Inuit hands, remains standing. Warm and more effective than most modern technologies. This is not a victory of tradition over science. It is a victory of physical law and natural economics over human arrogance. The question is this: in an age of nanotechnology and solar energy, why does a Stone Age invention remain the gold standard for survival in extreme cold? In economics, there is a fundamental principle: maximum efficiency at minimum cost. Nothing illustrates this principle more clearly than the igloo. To build an igloo, an Inuit hunter needs only a bone knife and about 1 hour. The material, snow unlimited, free, and always available. No transportation, no fuel, no maintenance. By contrast, a modern expedition tent may weigh dozens of kilograms, take hours to assemble, and require continuous energy input just to stay warm. Translated into economic terms, the igloo is a perfect example of a zero marginal cost system. Each additional igloo costs almost nothing to produce. Snow is also an instantly renewable material. When temperatures fluctuate, it can self-heal cracks through cycles of melting and refreezing. In environmental economics, this is a form of automatic maintenance that no synthetic material has yet achieved. In other words, the igloo is not merely shelter, it is a naturally balanced economic mechanism. It costs nothing to build, nothing to dismantle, and leaves no damage to the ecosystem. It is architecture and protest at the same time, a quiet rejection of energy-intensive civilization. In the white void of the Arctic, where the horizon dissolves into cloud, there are no landmarks. A person can walk in circles across the snow without realizing it. In this environment, death comes not only from cold, but from the collapse of spatial orientation, a psychological condition known as whiteout disorientation. The igloo, with its enclosed form and the soft light of the quillic, the seal oil lamp, creates a perceptual center. Its circular dome gives the sensation of being held. There are no sharp corners, no preferred directions. This symmetry helps the brain recover a sense of safety. This effect, referred to by psychologists as the dome effect, has been shown to lower heart rate, reduce cortisol levels, and restore a sense of belonging. In extreme environments, that feeling can be the difference between panic and survival. At a deeper level, the igloo is a structure that restores psychological and biological equilibrium. It transforms empty space into a personal universe, where every curve converges toward the human body. It is not just shelter for the body, but an anchor for the mind amid nature's white chaos. Remarkably, thousands of years later, modern design science is returning to this philosophy. From geodesic domes to neuro-restorative hospital spaces, contemporary architecture is relearning lessons first embodied in the igloo structures built not for comfort, but for survival. Historically, the Arctic was always a blank space on political maps. No nation wanted to claim land where steel becomes brittle, fuel freezes solid, and humans cannot remain for long. But for the Inuit, the igloo became a tool of territorial expansion, a soft weapon in humanity's silent conquest of extreme environments. Every igloo raised during a snowstorm was not just shelter, but a marker of human presence, a claim of belonging made not with flags, but with survival. Through the mobility of the igloo, Inuit groups could travel deep into uncharted regions, sustaining migration and hunting networks stretching thousands of kilometers. When modern powers later turned their attention to the Arctic for oil, gas, and shipping routes. They discovered something crucial. This empty land had been continuously inhabited for millennia, marked not by concrete structures, but by countless igloo traces embedded in the ice. From a geopolitical perspective, the igloo enabled the Inuit to establish cultural and spatial control long before the concept of territory existed in international law. A structure that seemed temporary became proof of existence for an entire people in a land where no one else could endure. When NASA began testing habitats for Mars and the Moon, one of the first challenges was not energy or oxygen, but shelter, how to protect humans from radiation, temperature extremes, and vacuum. Strikingly, the proposed solution in situ resource utilization mirrors the logic of the igloo. Instead of transporting materials from Earth, scientists are experimenting with compressing lunar regolith into dome-shaped blocks. Much like Inuit snow construction, dome geometry disperses pressure, minimizes heat loss, and optimizes energy efficiency. Once again, ancient geometry proves essential to future architecture. The lesson of the igloo lies not only in its shape or material, but in its philosophy of environmental integration, build with what nature provides, in the way nature permits. As we dream of Mars, it is these ancient principles that may shape humanity's extraterrestrial habitats. In this sense, the igloo is not a relic of the past. It is the first sketch of interplanetary architecture. The igloo survives not because it is perfect, but because it is intelligent enough to accept imperfection. It does not fight the environment. It leverages the environment's logic. Within every block of snow lies thermodynamics. Within every curve, stable geometry. Within every breath, a closed energy cycle. The igloo is proof that survival is not about strength but about understanding, adaptation, and cooperation with nature.